Hello friends, good morning. I welcome you all for today's session. So in today's session we'll be dealing with problem number 3 on axisymmetric element. Okay, this is the third variety of problem what we may get in this module. So I will listed the statement of the problem, so you can just go through that. For the axisymmetric element shown in the figure below, determine the element stresses. Let Young's modulus is equal to 210 GPa and Poisson's ratio is 0.25. The nodal displacements are, he has given the nodal displacements u1, u2, u3, w1, w2, w3. Okay, so these are the displacements in r and z directions. Okay, we are having two axes r and z, so these are the two displacements because you are having three nodes. So each node is having 2 degrees of freedom. He has given the displacements as u1, u2, u3 and w1, w2, w3 in the problem. Now he has asked us to find out the element stresses. So there are some prerequisites which we need to calculate before we could start with the actual steps. So those things we'll be doing it first. So from the figure we can easily know what are the coordinates r and z. So this is r1 0, r2 is 50, r3 is once again 0, z1 is 0, z2 is 50 and z3 is once again, z1 is 0, z2 is also 0 and z3 is 50, right? So that is what I have noted. Next, as usual, the conversion of Young's modulus from GPa to mm square, that I have done it. Giga is 10 raised to 9 pascals. 1 pascal is 1 Newton per meter square. So 1 meter is 1000 mm. It is square, so I have squared it. So 10 raised to 3 raised to 2 is 10 raised to 6. So we are having 10 raised to 6 in the denominator and 10 raised to 9 in the numerator. Resultant will be 10 raised to 3 in the numerator. Newton per mm square, because the mm, if you square it, it becomes mm square. So it is 2.1 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square. Right. Next comes area of the triangular element. You know what is the area of a triangular element. Either you can go by 1 by 2 determinant A, or you can go for 1 by 2 base into height, in case if it is a right angle triangle as it is in this problem, right? So if it is an equilateral triangle, then you please use equilateral isosceles. It may be anything other than right angle triangle. You please use the formula 1 by 2 into determinant A. If it is a right angle triangle, you can use either 1 by 2 into determinant A, as well as you can use 1 by 2 base into height. So what is the base here? 50 minus 0 is 50. Height is once again 50 minus 0 is 50. So both base and height are 50 and 50. Right, so that is what I have taken. Area of the triangle, because it is a right angle triangle, I have taken it as half base into height. Base is 50, height is 50. Area comes out to be 1250 mm square. Next comes the general coordinates what we require for B matrix R and Z. Okay, so this is the third problem what I am solving. In all the three problems we are calculating the B matrix. So by this time you should be acquainted with these steps. Calculation of coordinates R, which is the average of R1 plus R2 plus R3. I divide it by 3. R1, R2, R3 we have noted from the figure. So resultant will be 16.667. Because it is 3 digits and it is greater than 5, I have rounded off to 667, right? Because it continues 6666. So I have taken it as 16.667. Similarly, I have calculated the Z coordinate, which is the average of Z1 plus Z2 plus Z3. Right? In both the cases, we will be getting 16.667. So these are the prerequisites which are required to solve the problem. So now we will be starting with the actual steps of the problem. Right, so let me start with step number 1, which is calculation of stress strain relationship matrix. Okay, stress strain relationship matrix is nothing but it is D matrix, which we have studied in the previous video. So I am going to calculate it. This is the general form of stress strain relationship matrix, where E is Young's modulus, nu is Poisson's ratio. I told you how to remember it in the last video as well. Suppose if you forget these terms, right, so what is the thing you can observe is all the principal diagonal elements are 1 minus nu and the remaining elements are nu. right? Once again I am repeating, all the principal diagonal elements in this 3 into 3 matrix what is visible are 1 minus nu, and the remaining elements are nu. Now these three elements you need to write it at 0, and these three elements you need to write it as 0, right? So the last element is 1 minus 2 nu divided by 2. So this is how you need to develop a logic to remember this. Please don't by heart, just develop some logic using which you can remember things and reproduce. Now putting the values of nu and Young's modulus. Young's modulus is 2.1 into 10 raised to 5, nu value is 0.25, right? So I have substituted wherever there is nu, I have taken it as 0.25. Then at last, so if I simplify this part and if I take the common 0.25 as common, if I take it outside, so I will be getting this matrix, right? 84 into 10 raised to 3 and this matrix. I repeat, here in this matrix, if I resolve this, I will be getting terms 0.75 and 0.25. So 0.75 and 0.25, here common term is 0.25. So if you shift it outside and multiply with this value, you will be getting 84 into 10 raised to 3. So as a result of taking common, you will be getting these inner elements, right? So that is how you calculate D matrix. Next we go for step number 2, which is calculation of strain displacement matrix, denoted by capital B. So these are the elements of strain displacement matrix. Since we are writing it for the third time, by this time you should be able to remember these terms correctly, right? So this is the general format. I have calculated the area. Now I need to calculate these individual terms, right? So for calculating individual terms, let me start with alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, right? Let me start with alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3. I told you how to remember alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3. Once again I repeat, alpha 1, then you write R and Z, R and Z, okay, RZ, RZ with a negative sign. Now please don't change the order, you write it as R and Z only. Now if you are writing alpha 1, here it is alpha 1, it is a cyclic thing what I am going to use now. After 1 there are 2 and 3, these two will be coming because we need to continue it in the form of a cycle. So if it is alpha 1, here it will be R2 and Z3, minus for these two terms it will be reciprocal, or you can call it as the swapping of the subscripts. Instead of reciprocal, it would be a wrong term, we can use that swapping of the subscripts, right? For R and Z, whatever are the subscripts here, we need to swap it for the next term. So here R was having subscript 2, in the next term it should come for Z. Here Z is having subscript 3, here it should come for R, right? So if you substitute the values, it comes out to be 2500 mm square. Similarly for alpha 2, for alpha 2 you are here, the next two immediate values to form a cycle is 3 and 1, so it becomes R3 Z1. For the next term you swap the subscripts, right? It becomes R1 and Z3. We are all aware about the values of R3 Z1, R1 Z3. If you substitute, you will be getting 0. Similarly, if you are calculating alpha 3, you are here, the next two continuous terms are 1 and 2. So you are having R1 Z2. In the next element you are having swapping of the subscripts, put the respective values, and if you calculate, you will be getting 0, right? So next comes beta. Okay, beta terms are always associated with Z. Here also you need to follow the cyclic rule. If you are going for beta 1, next two terms should be Z2 minus Z3. If you are going for beta 2, to complete the cycle, it is 3 and 1, so it is Z3 minus Z1. If you are writing with 3, continuous terms are 1 and 2, so it is Z1 minus Z2. So in each of these cases you need to remember that whatever formulas you are going to write, you follow a cyclic process for that, right? So that is easy logic how you remember instead of biting the formulas. Now we are all aware of the coordinates Z1, Z2, Z3, R1, R2, R3, because that I have noted it from the figure, which was my very first step in the prerequisites. right? If you just write those things and calculate, beta 1 value comes out to be minus 50, beta 2 value comes out to be 50, and beta 3 value comes out to be 0. So as discussed in the previous videos, we always know that gamma terms are associated with r axis or r coordinates, right? R axis or r coordinates. So gamma 1, gamma 2, gamma 3. So you can take r minus r, r minus r, r minus r. Now how to write these subscripts? It is very simple. If you have written beta, you need to take an inverse of that. Here you have taken 2 minus 3 as a subscript. In gamma it should be 3 minus 2. Right? That is what I have taken, r3 minus r2. In the first case it is 3 minus 1. In the second case it is 1 minus 3. Here it is 1 minus 2. In gamma it is 2 minus 1. Put the values and you will be getting the values of gamma 1, gamma 2, gamma 3. Right? So there are 3 more terms which are relatively more in individual numbers, because this is one term plus second term plus third term, right? So we need to calculate it separately instead of putting it in the matrix, right? So we are aware of alpha 1, beta 1, gamma 1, r and z. All the values are known. You just need to substitute and find out. In most of the cases, either in 2 or all the 3 cases, will be getting the value as 49.999. So which I will be approximating it as 50, because 49.99 is as good as 50. Second reason why I am doing that, I told you yesterday, if I am having a whole number, it becomes very easy for me to calculate the product of the matrices, right? So that is second reason why I take and approximate it to the higher value. Next, so if I substitute all these terms in the B matrix, right, so this is what I'll be getting: 1 divided by 2 into A. These are the values of various things what I have calculated till now. Okay, and here you can observe that 50 is some common term, because it may be minus, it may be plus. 50 you can take it out, so it is 50 divided by 2500. You will be getting some value as 0.02 or 20 into 10 raised to minus 3. So remaining elements you write it as it is, you take it as equation number 2, right? So that is calculation of B matrix. Next we go for step number 3, which is calculation of product of B into D or D into B, right? Product of B into D or D into B. So I calculated D matrix, which was my first step. I calculated B matrix, which was my second step. I am going to multiply both the things. Outside coefficients I have kept it outside itself. This is the coefficient of D matrix, this is the coefficient of B matrix. So this is D matrix, this is B matrix, right? So then you know how to simplify and how to multiply matrices, right? Here you are having 3 into minus 1, which is minus 3. 1 into 1 is 1, minus 3, plus 1 is minus 2. So 1 into 0 is 0, 0 into 1 is 0. So that is how you get minus 2, right? So like this, each and every term, all these 4 elements should be multiplied by these 4 elements, right? So by doing so, we'll be getting the outcome of B into D. So that is what I have written here, right? Next, step number 4, which is the last step for the problem what I am going to solve today. So calculation of stresses involved, right? Calculation of stresses involved. So always remember, stress is given by the product of BD into U matrix. U matrix is nodal displacement matrix, and these displacements are already given in the problem, right? Displacements will be already given in the problem. So there are 4 stresses what we find here: sigma r, which I call it as radial stress; sigma theta, which I call it as circumferential stress; sigma z, which I call it as longitudinal stress; and tau rz, which I call it as shear stress, right? B into D, I already got it in the previous step. Same thing, I'll just put it over here. And U matrix are nothing but the displacement matrix, nodal displacement matrix, which are given U1 W1, U2 W2, U3 and W3, right? So there are 3 displacements in R direction as well as 3 displacements in Z direction. Each of these values are given in the problem, right? So those values I will be putting it here. So 0.05, 0.03, 0.02, 0.02 and these 2 zeros. don't think from where these values have come. These values are always given in the problem, so the same thing I have noted it down. Right, now here what is important thing to be noted is, so this matrix is 4 into 6 matrix, right? So you are having 1 2 3 4 rows and 6 columns, so this is 4 into 6 matrix, and here it is 6 into 1, 1 2 3 4 5 6, 6 into 1. So when you are multiplying these two things, right, 6 and 6 gets cancelled, the outcome will be 4 into 1 matrix, right? So if each and every term of this row, if you multiply with each and every term in this column, you will be getting one single entity, right? So by doing so, the values what I am getting here are minus 84, 252, minus 84 and minus 100.8. all the values are in Newton per mm square, right? So that is how you calculate stresses. Once again I repeat, sigma r is radial stress along the radius, sigma theta is circumferential stress, sigma z is longitudinal stress, and tau rz is shear stress. Right, that's it for today's session. Thank you.